Hey, we're back at the top again today with another special video where we go back and look at an old game of mine and react to it, because the shenanigans make for a great time to, look back over and reminisce. And today, we have my very first Pokemon game, Pokemon Silver. Now, I do want to say a few things. First, I apologize for this video, the way it looks, but this is the best I could do, since there's no way to get any game that's on the Game Boy Advance or a Game Boy color game actually looking good, for especially if it's an old game. The second thing is the audio that I'm speaking on now versus the video, they're two separate entities. That's because the microphone on my phone is complete trash. But, of course, this video is commemorating the near 17 years of Pokemon Gold and Silver, as it was released in the United States on October 15th, 2000. But there is actually a problem here. This, of course, is my Pokemon Silver version. You can see it in the background on my Game Boy Advance. And this is very nostalgic for me. It's a throwback. But, again, there's a problem here. As I hit the button, you can see the problem. My save file's not there anymore. And there's a reason for that, which I will get to. You're about to see my face here, and you can see my disapproval is not good. Let me tell you. But I have actually prepared for this unknowingly. And it's through the form of two videos and some history that I wanted to bring to a later game. And I'll explain how that came to be once we get to that part, but I wanted to get to these videos first. Now, these videos were shot in 2011 and 2012. There's only two of them, but they show off certain things as best as I can, because this is 6 and 5 years ago when you think about it. So this first video is of me looking at something in Pokemon Silver. Keep in mind, I did shoot this with my iPod Nano, the one that could actually record videos, so I thought that was pretty hype. But, so I don't believe I talk throughout any time of this video, but something happens right here, because I'm reacting to, this is all that's left, is all I'm saying. I'm reacting to all that's left of my old Pokemon Silver file, because I'll have to explain what happened with my very first Pokemon Silver file, but my Pokemon, the one that ended up dying, well, there's a reason. This is all that's left of it, and it's a shame. But there's a few things. First of all, if you don't know, that's Viridian City back there, but as you can see, I believe this video is showing off my shinies that I caught in the game way back when. And the frustrating thing about this Game Boy Advance is that, oh my goodness, the down arrow on the D-pad is so frustrating to hit. I also have a Nidoqueen. That's actually my very first legitimate shiny that is not the red Gyarados. Now that one, that's a story in itself, and I'll get to that once we get to my brought over Pokemon that I got. Here's another one, and the last remaining of the shinies, my shiny Steelix. And that's also a story for once we get there. But of course, I did say something. I don't know what I just said. I think Oh, I said the Steelix is terrible. Go figure. And now that I think about it, I won't show the second video because it's a bit redundant, because it shows the Pokemon that I'm going to irregardlessly show you anyway on the future Pokemon game. So, without further ado, we have one last thing to get to. And that last thing is to go over any Pokemon that I wanted to bring with me to a new game. See, back in 2013, what I did was I took my Pokemon Silver file, or game, and then looked through all the Pokemon and the Pokemon that I wanted to keep, because I had a feeling that my Pokemon Silver might be at its end of its life. So, what I wanted to do was I wanted to copy things down and bring it to a later game. And that game was my Pokemon White version 2. I double-checked this to make sure of things. So we're going to hop into this game right here. We will eventually react to this game someday, but I want to get to my White version 2 just for this moment, because there's a lot of history and there's a lot of memories. And if there's any Pokemon with any memories, I'm going to go over it, like, without a doubt. Hold on a second. I need to fix this, because I believe I need the bottom screen. Alright, we're back, and I think you might have heard something. I don't know. You might have heard the ding from when I restarted the recording, but I unpaused it, and there's nothing I can do about that. So, now, if you didn't hear me back in that video, I bought my Pokemon Silver game in January 2004, along with my Game Boy Advance, because for some reason I couldn't really have video games right off the bat. And I wanted the Game Boy Advance SP with Pokemon Sapphire, because Pokemon Sapphire was released in 2003, but I was unable to get it for some reason, so I ended up getting just a regular Game Boy in Pokemon Silver. I don't know, I'm a dumb kid and I didn't think straight, apparently sometimes. But there's a lot of history in that game, and there's a lot of stories. So I'm not saying we will be here for a while, but I will try not to ramble. Now, we need to get to box 13, because that is where these Pokemon are. I double-checked before I did this. So, you saw my 3 shiny Pokemon that I had back in the day, right? On those videos. Well, these 3 are back here, and each one of them kind of has a story. Some small, some big. But the first thing I do want to mention is I forgot my original trainer ID was Mewtwo. And you heard me say that it was Daniel Slash before, but there's a story behind that. And I did sort of explain this in the Pokemon Gold and Silver Soul Link Versus with Poise / Dylan on what happened. But I had my very first file, which I named my trainer Daniel Slash, all caps with a hyphen at the end. The only problem is, sometimes I wanted to just restart the game but not save over it. And one unfortunate time, I decided to do something. When I got to Goldenrod City, I went to the radio tower to go to the lottery corner, and it said my Gengar matched the ID number that was listed for the day. And my dumb young head goes, huh? I don't have a Gengar in this file, and went to the PC. Now the problem with this is, back in Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, if you wanted to change the box, or you wanted to move the Pokemon without mail, it saved the game when you accessed it. So, you know what happened from here. I went to move Pokemon without mail, and it saved over my file. And that's how Mewtwo came to be, the Pokemon trainer named Mewtwo. Who would name their kid Mewtwo? I wouldn't tell you. But at that point in my life, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think I had the feeling of ultimate loss just yet, so I cried. Good times and bad times, you know. But we're gonna start off with this Quagsire, and this Quagsire does have a little bit of history. Ignore the date there. I think that was me estimating back in 2013 on these Pokemon, so they're not going to be the right days. So, but they're an estimation. Again, so we're going to start off with this Quagsire, which there really isn't any sort of history with this. All I remember is I was in my friend's front yard just playing Pokemon, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. But there is something I do want to note, because if you can look from the back, you can see how the Quagsire's back here is gray, while the rest of it is pink. This is different in Pokemon Gold and Silver, how it was gray, but the thing on the back was pink. So they switched it between Generation 2 and Generation 3. I do want to check out the moves of each one, too. So Surf, Amnesia, Earthquake, and Rain Dance. And those stats, keep in mind, I did copy down the stats. Because what I did was, I used Pokesave, and then, like, I think I injected them into the game using my action replay, using codes for these. So these stats aren't actually that bad. We then get to my Nidoqueen, which has a story, because this is my first official shiny that's not the red Gyarados. So what ended up happening is, I want you to look at the date here, July 16th, again, that's an estimation, but it was at my summer camp. And I believe I actually got that year wrong. I think it was 2005. See, okay, so what ended up happening was, we were watching a movie upstairs in this summer camp, because I believe we were just at a high school. And this room had to be off because, of course, we're watching a movie. So I'm over there in the corner near the door where the lights from the hallway are shining in. And this is a type of door that has a rectangular window, a very thin rectangular window that's going vertically. So I don't really have much room to work with. But I'm playing. All of a sudden, I see shiny sparkles around this Nidoran female, and I'm like, what? How is this even possible? Like, I thought the red Gyarados was the only special Pokemon like this. And then I caught it, and it just completely blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, and Hidden Power. It's level 22, nothing really special. But this Steelix predates the shiny hunters of Twitch currently. People like A-Drive. People like, I actually don't know who else shiny hunts. I'm not quite sure, but I know A-Drive does, because, I mean, it's A-Drive. Everybody knows who A-Drive is. But this Steelix is a little bit crazier, because what ended up happening was, between the time from when I left to go to an event at this church, that which is about, I believe, 30 minutes it took to get there from my house to my to that church, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go into Silver Cave, I'm gonna shiny hunt, right? The problem is, that's a 1 in 8,000, yeah, 1 in 8,192 chance to find it. So I'm going full odds, and somehow I run into a shiny Onyx, and I catch it. But the problem lies later in when I'm wanting to save, because this event is about to start, and I get stuck in a battle with a Golbat who uses Mean Look. Now look at the moveset that I have. I have Harden, Rage, Sandstorm, and Slam. This is an Onyx who has a base attack of 40. So I'm stuck here trying to finish, and they eventually take my Game Boy away from me. And I'm sitting here, I don't actually know how old I was at this time. I want to say maybe 10 years old. I'm freaking out because if my Game Boy runs out of battery, it's the same Game Boy I recorded on those videos, by the way. If it runs out of battery, if somebody turns it off, if somebody bumps it weird, it could freeze, it could turn off, and I lose my full odds shiny Onyx. So I'm sitting here freaking out. I'm like, please, Ed, I want to save, I want to save. I'm literally gripping the chair. That's how annoying that was. But this shiny Onyx was shiny hunted, and it predated the shiny hunters of Twitch. So that is crazy. We then get to my level 75 Scizor, which is a part of a group of Pokemon that I will get to later on once we see more of them. Of course, this is a Scizor that I used for False Swipe. Okay, so no changes on the OT, but I use this to catch Pokemon because it does have False Swipe, Strength, Metal Claw, and Stealing. That is a wicked crazy attack. Also, you have to keep in mind, I'm using the stats from Pokemon Silver, and they use the DVs. They don't use the IVs or the EVs of the current generations of Pokemon. We then have Psycho Mew, which those stats are actually incorrect. I do remember that I couldn't get them for some reason because I believe they maxed out at 257 or some weird thing. I don't know. But I do remember that this Mew was on my friend's gold and then eventually his crystal game that he gave to me for my birthday. I want to say it was in 2005 because I believe I got my... He gave me his sapphire in 2006 for my birthday. Now, this thing is... Well, the Mew is... The OT is Durgan, who I have no idea where it comes from, but that's where it is. Speaking of my Pokemon Crystal, what was ironic is that also died the same time as my Pokemon Silver file, January 2014. So it's still crazy that those two lasted 14 and 13 years respectively. That's nuts. We then have this Houndoom, which I believe is a part of that same group as that Scizor. Nothing crazy, Bite, Amber, Strength, and Feint Attack. This Porygon 2, I want to say it was, but I think it was at the tail end of it, so that's why it's still level 30. This Octillery is a part of it, and as you can see, we have Hyper Beam, which if you didn't know, I mean, a lot of the young kids, when they're young playing Pokemon, they wanted the strongest moves. Some people, it was Earthquake. Some people, it was Blizzard. For me, it was Hyper Beam. I duplicated so many of these moves. Like Hyper Beam. I duplicated Hyper Beam like 15 times using the duplication glitch. So, I found that funny. I mean, you can see it on this Politoed, which is... I don't know who Ash is. A lot of kids name their trainer Ash for some reason. Probably because it's the anime and they couldn't think of their name. So anyway, Hyper Beam, Rain Dance, Body Slam, and Surf. So, Hyper Beam. This Fortress has Hyper Beam too. Oh my goodness. OT Chris. I don't know who Chris is. This Tyranitar is also a part of the group. And I did explain it back in that video. This is virtually the same Tyranitar. It has the same stats, the same moves. Also has Hyper Beam for some dumb reason. Mewtwo, yeah, this is mine. I caught it level 20 and I trained it up. And again, I will get to that once I get to the last one. We then have a Slowking, also has Hyper Beam. I laugh. Why did I teach Hyper Beam to everything? But it has Swagger for some reason. And Earthquake. But it's also a group. That's also part of the SS Aqua group. That's what I called it. This one thing actually does not have Hyper Beam, which I'm glad, because Slash, Flamethrower, Fly, and Fire Spin on this Charizard. And this is actually one of my last, or one of my few Pokemon I had from my original game, because I don't know how it happened. I think I traded it to a different file and then traded it back. So that's pretty cute. Here's my Mewtwo. Oh, this is my Mewtwo from my red version. I traded it from my red version. Oh, you're going to see a lot of these Pokemon. If they say Kamaya, it is from my red version because I used the Masigno glitch to get a bunch of rare candies to level them up. Because, you know, in some cases I'm a little bit impatient. Actually, it's because my friend was doing it. I'm like, I'm not going to sit around here battling you when you have level 100s, dude. That's not fair. And I believe the next moment is we get to my starter here. I want to actually know if this is the starter. Yeah. Yeah, I think... Okay, I remember. I picked Feraligatr. Again, like we did with the Torterra, I want to know. What do you think that this Feraligator's level is? Well, if you guessed level 62, well, there you go. This Feraligatr was level 62. I think I took this one. I don't actually know why. Hydro Pump, Cut, Surf, and Dynamic Punch. Interesting. But congratulations if you said 62. I don't know whose Typhlosion this is. I want to say it came from the crystal version that my friend gave me. But look at these stats! Holy macaroni! That's insane. 277 speed. Well, it might be insane for me, but we have a Ho-Oh, which is Eric! Eric is his name, not Patrick. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? But that's where I got this one from. That's some crazy statage, dude. Fire Blast, Hyper Beam again, Sunny Day, and Solar Beam. Snow Cone. No, it is Patrick, because this is his one, and I got the Ho-Oh from his same game. So if Patrick, if you were at a location, if you remember these and you named your, if you remember giving me a Ho-Oh with the OT Eric and an OT of Patrick with the nickname Snow Cone, then I have your stuff. I have your Pokemon. Comment down below if this is yours. And this is, I guess I wanted to nickname these three Pokemon, Matrix and Violence, just to give them a nickname, just because I have Snow Cone and I can't change the nickname. Nothing real. Why did I give you Cut? That is a joke. I have my Lugia from my main game. I caught that one, so I'm pretty hyped about that. I have a Golbat level 51. So that's pretty interesting. There's a Zoomerl. Level 23. I think, was it you? Were you a part of... No, you were part of the OG SS Aqua group, which was in my original game. Kingdra. This Kingdra was also there. Was it? Is it Kamaya? Maybe I got it as a Seadra and then traded it. I don't know, actually. It knows Hyper Beam, so I know I'm an idiot. Dragonite, level 59. Part of the SS Aqua group. No, it's not. No, it's not! I can't remember these. It's been well over a decade. Here's the Espeon. This Espeon. Again, this is a part of the SS Aqua group. This is all trained. Same with this Blissey. And you have to realize that these two were friendship-based. And by the time I got the game, by the time I got the two of them trained, or started training them, I had already beaten the game. So this is all through the SS Aqua. How did I get this thing from level 100? I think I got it from level 64 because it is nicknamed Kamaya, and I do remember getting it from the Unknown Dungeon, or Cerulean Cave. I think it was called the Unknown Dungeon, like, early on, but they changed it. But Kamaya is my red version. I believe I got it level 64, but somehow I trained it up 36 levels to level 100. It's insane. Remember that 672 HP stat. Pretty wicked. Now, Auto here is the trade on one of the routes near Fuchsia City, where you can trade on... Is it an Aerodactyl or is it a Blissey? I can't actually remember. It's not an Aerodactyl. I don't think it is. That'd be stupid. Why do you ever trade that on a Pokemon Silver file, which you can never even get without trading from Pokemon Red and Blue? So, that's what that is. That's why it's named Adam and Auto. Oh, this is it. This is the trade. This is it, because the OT is Kim. And that's the one from near Fuchsia City. And that's actually all of the Pokemon. Yeah, it is. Wow. This is just some blast in the past, just looking back at all my Pokemon, including my starter. I hope you got the level right there. But this will wrap up the reaction to my very first Pokemon game, Pokemon Silver. If there's any other game you want me to cover, I mean, I have my Pokemon Red version, but there's no way to go over it on a capture card. That's the problem, and that's why I haven't done it yet. But if you want me to, let me know. Or if there's any other game that I might own, let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy, don't forget to show your love on the like button by dropping a like from the top to show your support on the video and the channel. And subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss any other reactions. With that, though, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you back at the top later on, because that is how we do lots.